Hello, everyone. I am Melissa Forziat of Take the Doughnut, here to help you get inspiration and get donuts. I'm a motivational keynote speaker, but today I'm bringing you a Take the Doughnut interview with Karen Olson. Now, Karen is the owner of Amish Annie Donuts, home of the original large glazed donut. Karen, welcome. Thank you so much for joining for this Take the Doughnut interview.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, great. Well, first of all, obligatory question that hopefully has a quick answer for you. What is your favorite donut?
What is my favorite donut? I think it really depends on my mood. If
Ooh.
I'm, if I'm in just kind of a wake up lazy mode, I do just regular plain. And then as I'm in more inspirational and feel more adventurous, then I start adding my toppings that I like to do with it. A little whipped cream, some fruit, a little chocolate, dazzle it up. So it all depends on my mood.
Awesome. I was looking at your website and your donuts look particularly kind of unique and interesting. So I like that you specified it in that way. I started off with a bit of a bio for you, very short bio for you, but tell us more about yourself. What do you want us to know? And one of the things that I want to know is where you're located, because I didn't include that in the bio because I think you work out of many different locations. So tell us more about you and what you do.
So I am the owner and founder of Amish Annie Donuts, and I have both a food truck that we take very locally, but then I also have a food trailer that has more lights on it and fancier that will take like to county fairs and state fairs, some of the state fairs. So that one travels around to bigger events. But I'm located out of Andover, Minnesota, is where my home base is. So I do a lot around the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul in Minnesota. So that's where I'm located. And that's just kind of my part-time thing. I'm also an office manager for my husband's home service company. So I keep myself very busy and love it. I love the challenge of doing multiple things. I can't just sit around. So
Wow. So you have a full-time job and you run a whole business on the side, a traveling business on the side.
yes, I do.
That's amazing.
Yeah, technology is wonderful now that we have laptops and computers that can go with us. So thank goodness for all of that.
Okay. Well, so let's get into the heart of it, because today this is a Take the Doughnut interview, and Take the Doughnut for me is an expression. It basically means carpe diem, and it comes from this strange story that happened for me while I was in college, where I left a donut on a table and it became an actual object lesson for me and what it looks like to literally leave opportunity on the table. So if you haven't heard this story yet, I'm linking it here, but that's a chance for everybody to catch up on the symbol behind it all. But yeah, this conversation is about what it looks like to go after opportunity and not leave the donut on the table, but instead to take the donut. And so I wanted to talk with you about that today, Karen. I mean, when you think about this idea of going after goals, taking the leap in your life for big or small things, how are you with going after goals? What's that process like for you?
In the beginning, I was very timid, very withdrawn, and it was hard for me to even think about that journey of doing anything like that. And in the last 10 years, very much surrounded myself with people that are positive and encouraging. And then I had to think outside the box and start working towards goals that, even if it was a little nibble out of it, it didn't matter. I was making forward progress to go after a dream. Amish Annie, when I started the whole business, I didn't expect it to be, I didn't know what to expect out of it. I just thought this will be fun, right? And then you start getting into events and you start getting followers and people that are enjoying your product, and it kind of grows from there. So it's just really about going after something and thinking outside the box, and being willing to turn and take wherever that venture takes you, because you just never know. I mean,
It's so
one day
true.
where I thought it was oh, this will be fun to make some donuts and do this, I didn't expect it to turn into two mobile businesses on the road. That's not what I expected. And that all happened in the last 3, 4 years. So, I mean, it's crazy the way things happen.
It's a pretty quick evolution. I mean, I think I like your point about, sounds like your comfort zone expanded. You
Yeah.
know, you started thinking about just what was right in front of you, and it seems like it grew very quickly, but it did grow.
It did grow. It did grow. And trust me, hurdles came or feedback comes, and you get, there's many things in the day-to-day grind that can try and knock you down, or you take a step back going, maybe this isn't, why am I doing this? And that's where you need to turn your thought process and really don't let those things stop you. And it's okay. It's okay to have road bumps and run into things, but just to keep that momentum thinking. And that's where having, I really changed having the positivity of people around me continuously come into play in my life. And I've stopped watching news. I just don't do it, not because I don't want to know what's going on in the world. I can't listen to everything that's always negative. I try and refocus my things. So there's positive podcasts out there. There's other things you can do to keep informed and learning a different way.
I was going to ask what keeps you motivated, and it sounds like you're starting to answer that, but is that the answer? Is it, only let the positive things in, or surround yourself with people who are moving you forward, or do you have other tricks?
No, I mean, that's really the first thing I did when about 10 years ago, and when I met who I call him my husband. He's not technically my husband, but who's in my life now 10 years ago. He always would say, he got so mad at me, not mad at me, but he would say, stop saying you can't. Because I would say, I would never be able to do that. I can't do that. This will never happen. And he looked at me one day and he said, I don't want to hear those words out of your mouth ever again. And it took a lot. And he'd look at me and he'd just shake his head. And I'm like, oh, I know I did it again. But now I don't say that. Now I've changed my phrases to, I can't wait until or I can't wait until I can do this, or I take this next adventure, because it's training, and it's not easy. And it has taken, like I said, years, over 10 years, it took probably 5 years for him to get me to stop saying that kind of stuff.
What a smart reframe. So
Yeah.
you went from saying I can't to I can't wait until I can.
Right. So it really it was stop thinking it. Just you can do. It might not be a plan that you expect in the future, but you will be able to do something similar, or that dream itself. So, and he really made me believe in myself, which is again bringing the right positive people into my life. So it was good.
What an interesting technique. I really like that, and I think it's sort of it's replacing one emotion with another in a way. It's like emotion fights emotion. So get rid of the anxiety and replace it with anticipation and excitement. And
and I remember the day he told me, all of a sudden I said, oh my gosh, I can't wait until I can do something. And he goes, you finally did it. You finally stopped saying I can't. And you gave yourself that. You're not saying it's going to happen now, but you actually saw it into your future.
Yeah.
So it was good.
I'm going to try that today. I'm going to start thinking that way. Let's see how it goes. Oh, I love it. So when you are going after goals, and there's probably been quite a lot of different types of goals in your life, are there any particular types of challenges that typically come up for you? Like, what's the brand of challenge that tends to be your Achilles heel in the process?
Right now, my biggest, and it always has been, is marketing. And that includes doing things like I am talking to you right now. My heart is racing. My hands are sweaty. I feel, I hate putting myself in front of everybody, but when you have a business, you have to do that. But I am so much, I would rather have somebody else do me do everything on the backside, but let somebody else be in the front. And that's where I'm forcing myself to do that.
But we are all the beneficiaries of that, because you just right out of the gate started off with this great psychological technique that everybody can use that I am going to start using immediately. So what a disservice it would be if we hadn't heard
and
directly from you.
I think it's just and believing in yourself. I mean, it's really hard, but yeah. So it's getting it out there and marketing and talking to it. And and you get people that are positive and negative, and we know this, and it's even worse, I think, not in this day and age with all the social media. But it's it is a part of life, and you just have to face it. But I take everything very personal, so it's hard. That's my biggest.
That's the hardest part, right? I mean, I think, especially if you're the type of person who really invests yourself into the things that you're doing, and, opening yourself up for feedback can be very difficult.
It is. It's very hard. And taking feedback that you feel is negative, but when you really analyze it or look at it, it's like, well, that's giving you pointers to make improvements. But it's just the way sometimes, when somebody hears something negative or what they feel is negative, your first reaction is defensively. And you just have to take a step back going, you know what, you're right, but here's what I can do. And then that's another point is if you take what feedback you get and do you do something with it to turn it into that positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if we kind of look back at the picture of like donuts you've taken in your life, personal or professional, going back into the past up to the present, what would you say is the biggest donut that you've taken?
Definitely starting this business was my biggest achievement, and I feel as a successful one for myself. I worked in an office. I worked, out in the field, and I got up every day like everybody else and drove to work and, started their day and did it. So then turning it in and starting this challenge and really building it from start to finish, what used to be nothing, into a truck that was a plain truck or a plain trailer, and then building it out and getting the branding done, and then start advertising it and taking it out for everybody to try. So I mean, it was really from start to finish, and I'm proud of that. And I have daughters who participate in it and are very interested in continuing with it, and I love it. I hope I can hand that to them one day. So
great. If you think about what you're going after now, are there any donuts that are in progress for you? Anything that you're going after now that's in your mind?
Of course there is. And I think, it doesn't matter. I'll be 50 years old and I find other interests, and strangely enough, I took a right turn, and I'm also interested in real estate. And this year, just in the last month, I decided, you know what, I'm going to take my classes, and I passed my national exam, I passed my state exam, and now I'm preparing to start that whole adventure because I love real estate. I love short-term rentals. I love long-term rentals. And so it's another avenue that I am getting myself involved in. Why?
Congratulations. So you're now, you're going to maintain your office job through all this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, I love the challenge of being busy, and people are like, well, then you must not have fun. We absolutely have fun, and that's a part being up with a partner that enjoys that drive as much as I do. And whether we're driving across, again, because we have laptops and we have internet around down the road, we can be driving across country and I'm on a laptop and I can still be working, and we're still coming up with goals and next, adventures for ourselves. And even though we're on an adventure in a car, it doesn't matter. We like to stay busy and create new things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's do the sprinkle some encouragement section. There may be people who are listening to this who are working on a big leap of their own, a big or a small leap for that matter. Like you were saying in the beginning, sometimes it's little steps along the way. So what would you say to people who are trying to take the donut now for themselves? What encouragement or advice would you give?
And I think this all goes back to where we stem from the beginning. First of all, it's okay to be scared and nervous or apprehensive about it. But if it's really something you want, again, surround yourself with the right people in life. Surround yourself with friends that have similar interests, or join groups of people that, have similar interests or want to encourage you to do things. It's about surrounding the right people in your life. And then there'll be hurdles and there'll be roadblocks, but just don't get discouraged. You can do it. I have all the confidence. If I can do it, anybody else can do it, because I'm not somebody that went off, and got a 4-year degree by any means, but I have the mindset and I have the work ethic to do it, and anybody else can do it too. So just don't get discouraged ever. And, if anybody ever would have questions, I would, or, just needs that support or just that encouragement, I would love to be able to talk to people about that.
It's so wise. And I think, I particularly want to underscore, just because somebody is in your life right now, or maybe they're even close to you, doesn't mean they understand the journey that you're on. So I think it sounds like you have really taken an active role in evaluating who's part of your process, maybe for different things. And making sure you've surrounded yourself with people who can help you with the different things that you're doing. I think a lot of times when we don't get the type of feedback we're looking for the people who are the absolute closest to us, it can be really discouraging. But it's like, wait, but what if you could just make that circle for yourself the way that you need it to be? And it sounds like you've really been thoughtful.
I have. And, sometimes it's not, I don't want to say I've moved people out of my life, but I just put them, I almost categorize them. There's the people you want to go out and just hang out with them and have a cup of coffee, and they just want to talk or whatever. But and I've just found that bringing in certain people keeps my drive going. And again, and it all has, and sometimes it's, like I said, sometimes it's a podcast and I'm not really talking to anybody, but it's just listening to that. And then it builds that desire up in me. Or, I hear somebody else's journey and it just really excites me.
Yeah.
Because when I love hearing people's success stories. I love people's failure stories, because it's like, wow, what they went through and then how they overcame them, and then really turned their life around. So it's just, again, bringing in the right ones that really made it successful for me.
Yeah. A lot of fuel for you, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, tell us where we can find you. I'll make sure that we have links in the description, but what link should we have?
Yeah. So, on my website, I do have all of our events for what's going to take us through 2023. And it's at amishannie.com. But right now I'm preparing and packing up our trailer and my camper for the North Dakota State Fair. So I'll be heading up there this weekend to start setting up. And then we will also be attending the St. Paul Food Truck Festival that will be happening next weekend down in at the depot in the Twin Cities. So and then we have county fairs and festivals from there. So, but you'll find our schedule on our website. So we hope you visit.
Perfect. Yeah, everybody be sure to check that out, especially because this is a business that moves. You're going to need to check where Karen is before you show up at a location. So the website is going to be a really important resource for that. But also, if you liked hearing Karen's story, make sure to like and subscribe on this video, because we have so many. If you too like listening to other people's stories as inspiration for you, this is a great way to hear other interviews that are coming up. We've got so many amazing people lined up to talk about what it's like going after what you want. And hopefully that gets everybody feeling inspired. So Karen, thank you so much for carving out some time. I know this isn't the most comfortable thing for you to do, but look how much gold you've shared with everybody.
I really appreciated it. It was fun. And it was, like I said, it's a new adventure for me and it was wonderful. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for providing all the information that you did. So, okay, everybody, you know what to do. Get inspiration, get donuts. Bye.